At me, I told you on several occasions, subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the notifications. The other day I called that Rajon Rondo, the like, comment, subscribe, but the Rajon Rondo of the big three is to click the notifications. Now, I know a lot of YouTubers say that. Oh my God, that you just heard it. You just heard it. You literally just heard me for the first time in my life group myself in. Oh my God. If there's any acting teachers out there, you know this ain't lying that's going down right now. I've always referred to them, those, the YouTubers and the TikTokers, and I almost just used us. That is a very depressing moment in my life. I put myself up there with the cast of Top Gun before I do with the YouTubers. Is that slightly delusional thinking? Potentially, but that was the first time you saw it happen. Mark it down where, oh God. I'm a YouTuber. Damn it. Anyway, I told you to subscribe and click the notifications because you never know when these videos are going to come out. This one happens to come out in the middle of the night, where I used to say for the NHL videos, in the middle of the night, you'll be getting those late sniffs. And the reason that is, every once in a while, some of my best ideas, when it came to writing comedy and coming up with funny ideas or concepts for jokes, there were always 2 times where I always came up with the best stuff. And I'm really not kidding. I don't want to say this is advice because everybody's different. Everybody has their own methods. But all my clever and creative stuff happens after runs. I know that sounds weird. What do you mean after runs? Let's say I run, and then there's just that long walk after. And my walks are a lot longer than the runs. But I don't know if it's with oxygen being released from the brain to the body, but I come up with so many concepts in that post-run period. And the second time is when everyone's sleeping. I don't know if I have a little vampire quality to me, and that's kind of when I think of some of my best stuff. But here we are, late in the middle of the night, but I guess very early when it comes Thursday night football sniffs. Now, I guess there's one kind of reason I want to get this video to you early, and that has to do with what we just saw happen on Monday night at what we might see again, not 100% certain, but what we might see again on Thursday in regards to the running backs in the game. Now, how did week 1 go by? It was opening week of football. You know what it was like for us here? Or for me, at least? I mean, I beat the crap out of the guy. Like in the first round of the fight. And then the rest of the rounds were pretty even, but I easily won the fight. We destroyed them opening night. And then, a $10 win, a $30 loss, a $50 loss, but up over $800 for week 1. And now we will try to continue that into week 2 with this Buffalo Bills Miami Dolphins game. So in this game, we are seeing the Miami Dolphins favored by a couple of points over a team who has just smacked them repeatedly. The Bills, ever since Josh Allen took over, just time after time after time, waxing them. Some of the games are not even remotely close. Just full Josh Allen owning the Miami Dolphins. And the reason I bring that up, aside from the fact that last year, both picks that I gave, -2.5 at home for the Bills, and then last week of the year to win the division in Miami took the Bills. I bring all of that up to let you know that I'm going with the Miami Dolphins in this game. Originally, I was going to take the money line because it came out at -120, but by the time you guys watch this video, I think it's already at -130, -140. So I'll just let you know I'm good with the Miami Dolphins up to anything like -2.5. You guys know how I feel about that number 3. Once you start being a favorite and you hit 3 or more, I'm kind of out. But I've seen it -1.5, 2. I'll take anything up to -2.5. And why is that? Why have I turned my back on the Buffalo Bills? If this was week 16, I'd probably think differently. If this was in Buffalo and the weather was cold, I'd probably think differently. But early season Miami, by the way, I've been talking about how great it feels when the fall rolls around. That applies to a lot of the country, but let me tell you, one of the worst times to be in Florida, for me at least, is right now. There is nothing more depressing than when early September and then even into October, it rolls around. You know, college football Saturdays, you see people in hoodies out there that you can just smell that fall mischief in the air. You think they're getting that in Miami? It's 99, muggy, and miserable. People feel like Ace Ventura in the back of that Rhino every single day. There's nothing worse than being down there right now, but I guess not for the Dolphins, who are used to it. It will be like that game a couple years ago where Josh Allen was dehydrated down there. He had to throw it like 55 times, although the Bills don't play like that anymore. Anyway, with all that said, aside from the heat, there are a couple of reasons to like Miami in this game. Number one, Buffalo looked pretty damn erratic on their own home field against Arizona the other day. Now, offensively, that was kind of to be expected. You know, you're replacing Diggs, Gabe Davis. You have a new look offense. You're kind of trying to sort out everything there. But the more surprising part, they have a defensive coach, and the defense was getting the ball moved on them by the Arizona Cardinals, who are a mediocre, if not bottom third team in the NFL. Now, you can get away with that at home. You can fall down double-digit points, come back, win the game. But on the road against Miami, a team who's just been really good these last couple of years, early in the year when Tua is mostly at his best, and you're going to have a healthy Tyreek Hill and a healthy Jalen Waddle, not so healthy running backs, and we'll get into that in just a second. But this is a game that's going to be tough for the Bills to win because the Bills have just won, and they eliminated Miami from the playoffs, took the division from Miami. Who do you think this one means a whole hell of a lot more for? This is like borderline playoff level importance for Miami. They need to get over this Bills hump. And if they can't do it early in the season at home, how is it going to feel, week 16 in Buffalo? And I don't know when they play in Buffalo. But this is a game that obviously is of significant importance to the Miami Dolphins. And just because the Bills are still figuring out what they're doing on both sides of the ball, I think it favors a tricky team like Miami on a short week. You have that crafty play calling of Mike McDaniel. And that's kind of why I like the Miami Dolphins -2.5 against the Buffalo Bills. Anyway, let's go into some clever plays. Clever plays that can really fill up your bank like it did for all the Jordan Mason people. Now, Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane, like the two running backs who get the majority of the snaps for the Miami Dolphins, they both got injured in the last game. Now, they didn't look like big injuries. They both just kind of gimped off to the sideline. Mostert had a chest injury, Achane his ankle, but they left that game. They never returned, and they haven't practiced Monday, Tuesday, and we're going to see their status. But it kind of feels like they're not going to play. And if they're not going to play, here's what I will tell you. You guys know how I know Shanahan? Well, by virtue of knowing Shanahan, I also know Mike McDaniel, who traded for a running back, played him over Raheem Mostert, and used him immediately when Mostert was out of the game along with Achane. And that is Jeff Wilson Jr. You guys know. The people who watched 2 years ago, it was all about Jeff Wilson. As soon as Eli Mitchell got hurt, Jeff Wilson in there. That scheme that they run with Shanahan, same type of one here. What I'm trying to do is get any lines that I can that are acting as if Mostert and Achane might still be playing. And the only ones I can find available to me, because they're obviously not going to list any rushing totals yet or receiving totals, anything like that. Give me the first touchdown scorer, Jeff Wilson Jr., plus 1,600 on Bet365. Also, give me Jeff Wilson to score two. How's he going to score two touchdowns? Because if they're both not playing, don't be surprised if you see a Jordan Mason level of performance from him. Because what I will guarantee you is that he will get the bulk of the work. On the off chance both those running backs are active and you see people trying to hype up Jalen Wright, they know nothing about anything. They're absolute donkeys, and they have no clue how much McDaniel absolutely will ride Wilson, as he's done in the past and will absolutely do. You think that McDaniel is not going to use his 6-year trusted running back in a huge game against Buffalo, and they're just going to wheel in a rookie? Oh yeah, handle the bulk of the carries. So if both of those running backs are out, Achane and Mostert, you hammer the Wilson props. 2 touchdowns for Wilson and a first touchdown for Wilson. You're looking at plus 1,600, plus 2,000 on both of those bets. How do you like that? Huge payouts. That's how we started that first video, and that's how we're going to start today on this Thursday. Then again, I already gave you the money line. But now I can tell you about a couple props that I really do like. Kind of my favorite one. We started that Thursday video, and I said, my favorite play on the day is it's this Justice Hill over 7.5 receiving yards. He won a bunch for us down the stretch, but he wasn't the only one. One of these players on the Bills also won for us a bunch down the stretch and into the playoffs. I once called him the most dynamic pass catcher they have coming into this season. I still think that's the case, although he had an awful week last week. But as I told you last year, the beautiful things about down weeks, and if they screwed you, is they reward you by having a lower total, one that's way easier to surpass. And that is Dalton Kincaid, the tight end of the Buffalo Bills. He was blanketed in coverage, kind of like you saw with Mark Andrews on opening night, and then likely just completely went off. You saw Kincaid bracketed, and that allowed other players to step up their games. The good news here is that Miami has great cornerbacks, and it's not like the Bills have fantastic receivers. This is a game that sets up well for the tight ends of the Bills, and I'm loving the Dalton Kincaid over on receiving. We're in the low to mid 40s. I think that's extremely attainable in a game where the Bills are probably going to have to score some points. They might find themselves down. We will see. But I like Kincaid here. And then on the Miami side of the ball, there's another player we talked about last year. He kind of screwed us because he kept getting injured last year. But one of the themes was, you got 2 great receivers. One's got an extremely high total. One has a total that's 60% of that? Yeah, give me that guy, which is why I'm taking the over on Jalen Waddle. You're looking at Tyreek Hill around 90 yards. Okay, give me Jalen Waddle 64.5 yards. The guy cleared 100 last week, and especially if there's no Devon Achane, who functioned as their third receiver, he had 77 receiving yards, then it's going to be a ton of Hill, ton of Waddle, and I like me some Jalen Waddle over 63 or 64.5 receiving yards. And one last one, maybe you can call this one a sniff. I think it definitely qualifies as a sniff. The rookie wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, Coleman. What do you think I'm going to take? What, did you see that he ran the most routes of all the Buffalo Bills wide receivers? Did you see he had 4 catches in his first game? Did you see all this? Did you see he went to Florida State and now he's going back to Florida? Yeah, I saw it all too. You want to know what else I saw? That he did it against the Arizona Cardinals at home. And as I just mentioned, the reason I like the Kincaid bet is because they have good cornerbacks. They can defend wide receivers. I think they're going to have to go through the tight ends. It's going to be a way tougher matchup this time around, which is why I'm going with the under 3.5 receptions at even money for the Bills rookie wide receiver, Coleman. And then, of course, you sailed all the way here from Blackwater Bay to get your Pirate Parlay. And this one's going to be fairly easy. It's going to look like some of those ones we did last year. I like Dalton Kincaid. Give me the alt on Dalton Kincaid. I like the over for Jalen Waddle. Give me the alt on Jalen Waddle. And then also give me James Cook for over 1.5 catches. He's my flag plan player of the year. This might be a tough game for the Bills, but I do like him for 2 catches. So give me the alt receiving totals on those 2 and Jimmy Cook for 2+ catches, and that will fetch you a decent price for my same game parlay. And that is what I have for you here on Thursday Night Football. Week 2, we'll look to continue our winning ways. We nailed them week 1. Now we're going to try to do it again week 2. Hey, you know what to do. There are a couple things you have to do. That was me. I've done all the work so far today. And now here comes your trivial, minuscule level of work. Number 1, like and comment on this video. Just comment the name of the pizzeria you're going to go to and put in your favorite spread bets for the weekend. Number 3, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Number 4, the Rondo. Click the notifications in case something comes out in 3 in the morning. Is there a 5? Hey, I mean, in the NBA, there's a starting 5, right? The 5th one's actually secretly the big baby Glenn Davis or something. Perkins, Sam Perkins. You want to know what that is? Patreon Perkins. Over on the Patreon, we got chats talking about the game. That's where I update the thread when things come in. That's where I put the Lazard alt receptions and I put the Jordan Mason alt rushing yards. So hopefully I see you there. If not, no worries. I'll see you on Friday. Dave and Dan, I'll talk to you then. Take it easy. Have a good one.